Go back. So let's let you go ahead. You were making the points before we went to break.
Yes, I mean, Gimba's question is like, did it have to take, this circumstance, for the Senate to call for that report? You cast your mind back to the fact that at a point in time when this report was being prepared, or at least when the conference was sitting, the Senate, or the National Assembly for that matter, was uncomfortable, because they felt, and in any case, part of the report was that Nigerians were now asking for a unicameral legislature, in which case, without giving an impression that we are spending so much, on two houses when we can do with one. Can't we fashion out our own type of, the presidential system, which will be just maybe about only the Senate? So that is almost like political suicide for the National Assembly to begin to ratify a report like that, because these are people who came to the Senate, to the National Assembly with all manners of imaginations of what they are, like what they now call their work tool, which is a Land Cruiser. They are always imagining, what they want to take away and all of that. And this report is going to stop them from doing that. So they were most likely going to kill it. But you see, that's why we also have to wait cautiously, in the sense that there could be a number of such areas of the report which they may not be comfortable with. And that was why we were happy that it was a group that was outside the National Assembly that prepared that report, so that it is either now or sometime in future we will still take part of that report.
All right, let's bring Makwe in. She's got a question. Go ahead, Makwe.
Just quickly, how do we differentiate the politics of election from sincere politics when we're talking about restructuring, for instance?
Well, you see, the politics of election by way of restructuring is that it's probably going to create more room for local politicians to be able to participate in their own respective areas. But the other altruistic side of it is also that it is going to give the people, the constituents, an opportunity to participate in their own governance.
But I would just, perhaps if I understand her question properly, just as you said, the cautious optimism that people have about this, are we sure that this is not just politics? Or are they really and truly going to say, no, the Senate was unanimous in this, everybody condemned it on the floor, as such, they will consider this the way it ought to, if it comes to them as a bill from the executive?
Well, if that is actually her question, then we will wait until a few days more, where opinions and all manners of people will begin to either support the fact that the Senate has called for it and they are reviewing it, or some people will now say that no, we didn't even need to review it in the first instance because there was no legal framework. That was the argument then. There is no legal framework backing that constitution. Okay. I mean, that CONFAB.
Who knows? I could be wrong, but I think Makwe hasn't finished with that question. Makwe, go ahead, please.
Well, I think, Chamberlain, we are very much along the path of the question I was trying to ask, because from the history of the 2014 CONFAB report, which you traced, you talked about how the president then was very reluctant to endorse it because he thought it was opposition politics. And when it came almost to the twilight of that administration, the opposition then felt that it was a Greek gift and so did not want to participate in it because perhaps they felt that they had a stronger hold or a higher chance, as it were, to take over power as we currently saw, or as we eventually saw in 2015. So now that we're in 2017, 2 years to another election year, how do we know that all of this is not just about politics to ensure that perhaps, a certain region or a certain group of people are able to get more involved in politics?
Oh, yeah, sure. Makwe, you're not clear. Chances are also, we cannot rule out that possibility that the Senate is trying to be populist in the sense that they have, like you had my own percentile. I said about 80% of Nigerians want that, CONFAB report, revisited and probably, implemented. Chances are also that they are playing to the gallery, and that is why I said, bearing political facade, in which case you need to now unveil their intentions to be able to find out what they really mean, whether it is to win elections or to help us come out of this imbroglio.
Okay, well, let's
so how would we know eventually at the end of the day? I mean, which way would you think a pendulum will swing?
Oh, that's why I said we are going to wait out. You know, the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we'll now find out whether they really mean it, whether they are altruistic about, you know, the call for that report, whether they actually want to use it to douse the tension, which is exactly a nationalistic and patriotic, you know, stand, you know, of that move. If they now use it to douse the tension, use it to move the country forward, then we would have gotten their intentions. But if along the line they begin to play the regular politics that we know about, we now know that they are probably trying to use it to appeal to the Nigerian populace that they are a listening National Assembly. Okay. And at the end of the day, they probably will drop it.
Well, maybe, who knows? Do we give them the benefit of the doubt? Because if